Are you ready to talk about some Avatar? Some non-blue people Avatar?
Yep, yep. So today we are going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not that horrible, never to be spoken of movie, but the amazing Nickelodeon TV show. So this video is called Book One React or Reaction. I don't know. We'll title it in a little bit, but so Jonathan, this is his first time watching through it. He's been watching through it for the first time here recently. I started watching it a few years ago, and have actually watched it several times since then. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get Jonathan's initial reactions, maybe sneak in a little review along the way, kind of, sorta, and just have some fun talking about Avatar. I enjoy it, and we'll hear Jonathan's thoughts here in a minute, and hopefully y'all enjoy it too. So, what were your first thoughts and your initial ideas on Book One?
Well, I really enjoy this show. It's good all around. There's lots of great characters, character arcs, and good story and a good magic system, and I don't know. There's just so many different things to talk about. But I love Aang, of course, and I love Katara. There's just some really cool scenes between all different characters, and of course you gotta love the flying bison.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it's
gotta love
awesome.
Appa. Yeah, it's great.
I'm really enjoying it though.
Cool. All right, so let's kind of we're gonna keep this video relatively short. Maybe cross our fingers, see what happens. We'll kind of go through some of the things. So, what did you think of the first couple of episodes? Like your first very beginning and kind of the splashing water around, playing with magic water, or whatever Sokka says, and all of that stuff.
The first few episodes were good. They were a little kiddish, I think, just as in almost any show. It's like, okay, are we gonna? I don't know if it's really necessarily the show or if it's just kind of my take on it when you're sitting there watching it and you're not quite sure what to expect. But yeah, there was some cool scenes, and you're like, oh, okay, water bending, okay, different, and then of course he comes out of the ice, and you're a little confused.
You want to go penguin sledding with me?
Yeah,
first lines.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was good. I think I definitely started to enjoy it more once you kind of got a grasp, maybe 2-3 episodes in, of what the actual story was, that he had been gone for 100 years, and that you know he's there to save the world, and there are the Fire Nation is bad, and all the things that you kind of grow to understand. And once you get the full story fleshed out and you can see where it's going, I think I started to enjoy it more at that point. But yeah.
So, the first kind of heavy episode is the Southern Air Temple, when they go and they're
episode 3, right?
Yeah, episode 3, and you get some of the Eastern stuff, which is something I noted at the beginning. Then you also get the scene where Aang finds Gyatso. What did you think about all the death and destruction and bones and scariness in a Nickelodeon show?
Yeah, it was very adult. I mean, it was very. I was surprised to see that there was. I don't know. It was done in a very good way, I guess, a very tasteful way. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, it was a lot heavier than I thought a kids show would ever be. It was good. It was I felt very sad for Aang and his loss of all the air people, and it was just where he gets to his home and there's nobody there and everybody's dead. Mm-hmm. And it's yeah.
And then Avatar state. Yep. Yeah,
that's right. He goes into Avatar state, and you're kind of like, oh gosh, what is he about to do? Mm-hmm. And then Katara kind of cools him off, and
yep.
Anyway, yeah, it's definitely emotional. This show is a lot more emotional than you would think an animated show would be.
Absolutely,
for sure. So I definitely.
All right, so let's see. The Warriors of Kyoshi comes pretty quick. Think about all that stuff.
Which one's that?
That's Wasuki and the girl, the Kyoshi Warriors.
Yeah, the Kyoshi Warriors. Yeah. That was pretty cute for what's his name? Sokka. Yeah. He's so
I'm the greatest warrior of my village.
I remember the scene that he's like, girl, I think that's on that episode where he's like, girls are so good at leave her alone leave Sokka alone while she's sewing up my pants.
Oh,
yeah,
probably.
She's like, why, what does that matter? Why does that have anything to do with me being a girl? And anyway, but his whole, masculinity versus feminine, whatever. And so he meets these warriors and he's like thinking he's going to be able to beat the crap out of them. And they show him that they are really, really awesome female kick butt ninja people. And, there's good relationship built there. And that's a cool episode. I like that one for sure.
So what did you think of the Omashu episode, and were you surprised at all that King Boomy wasn't just a crazy weak whatever, or was that obvious, or was that a surprise?
It was pretty obvious from the beginning that to me that he was his friend.
Right. Yeah, that part was pretty clear.
Yeah, but the fact that he was pretty kick butt, like
one of the most powerful earthbenders in the show.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And it was cool to see an actual remnant. You don't really get to see a lot of the fact that Aang was in an ice block for 100 years,
right?
Because everybody's dead that knew of him.
Yeah,
and so, or a lot of people are, and Boomy's still alive, and so it's like, oh, he's his best friend, but yet he's like 100 and something years old, and Aang's like young, and anyway, so that was kind of cool to see them like hug, and I don't know, it was different. It was different, but yeah, no, he and I think it comes in later a little bit more to show his power. King Boomy's power a little bit later, I think in book 2. But
we'll
talk about that later. But anyway, there's some really, really cool stuff with him for sure.
So there's the prison scene, the prison episode with Katara and the Earthbenders that get imprisoned with George Takei's voice as the warden. That's a fun Katara episode, I think, where she gets to rally the troops, or try anyway. And then does some good. That's
was
fun.
A good one. Yeah. And
there's a couple 2-part episode of the winter solstice with Roku, and they discover that the comet is going to show up and all that stuff, which kind of triggers everything else.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. There's it. You know that the Fire Nation is bad, and you know that they're coming, but then when you realize, they've already gotten one comet to kind of bolster their power, and this time that's going to be the end of everything, because and it's kind of funny to me that is the one thing about the show that's just so funny, is how off kilter the Fire people are, or seem to be at the beginning, that they're so anti everyone else, and then as you get to learn more about the other factions, it's almost like everybody is scared of every other kind of not quite. I mean, if Earthbender saw a Waterbender, they're not going to be like, oh my gosh. But there's kind of this
division.
Dividing factor between all of the benders and the people, and it's very interesting. It definitely reflects our world today, kind of thing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, let's get the waterbending scroll. There are 2 episodes in a row. There's episode with Jet, and then there's the Great Divide. So
Jet and his gang.
What did you think about those couple of episodes?
I don't remember what's the Great Divide.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Jet and his gang were. I could tell right off that something was weird about him just because of the way he was being all whatever. But it was. And I was kind of actually disappointed in Katara for falling for him like that. Because she's like my favorite character, and there was a lack of lack of intuition, I guess, on her part.
Very
but,
much. Well, and that's what's particularly comical, because they have that whole bit at the beginning about Sokka's instincts, and why don't you listen to Sokka's instincts?
Yeah.
we were following instinct. I mean, you can get killed that way.
Yeah.
But it turns out his instincts were pretty correct all along, except it goes the wrong way at the end to further the joke. But.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting one for sure. Just that I think that may be when I started realizing, okay, not everybody. It kind of the show almost makes you feel like, okay, everybody that's not fire is good.
Right. Oh yeah,
and
at the beginning,
it's not that way. There's lots of bad people everywhere. It's just they're the biggest bad enemy,
Absolutely.
And so,
well, I will say that Jet drives me bonkers. I don't know, drives me bonkers is the wrong word. He annoys me. Like, I don't I can't hardly,
especially in that episode.
That one especially, but and won't give away spoilers if you haven't watched season. Well, this is going to be pretty spoiler filled. We should have said that at the very beginning. And for whatever, but if you haven't watched it, and we won't spoil book 2 yet, but
we'll go back and put a spoiler warning earlier, so y'all will know. But
he annoys me even later, honestly. But he's especially in this episode. He's very annoying. But
I agree with that.
So the Great Divide is you couldn't remember what it was. You've blocked it from your mind. It's pretty nearly from what I can tell, pretty nearly everybody's least favorite episode of the show.
Oh, okay.
The Great Divide is the episode where they're in basically the Grand Canyon. It's called something else. I can't remember. Something Canyon. I don't remember. But basically the Grand Canyon, kind of. And the annoying earthbender guy and the two people. It's just filler fluff episode that has no point, and it's annoying, and it teaches kids that it's okay to lie, because whatever. Aang lies at the end, and everybody goes on their merry way and whatever. I don't know. It's a stupid episode.
Yeah, I agree with that. Once the ending happened, and she was like, "Oh, you lied," and he was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Oh, it's okay," kind of thing, and I was like, "What?" Up until this point, the show has been really like positivity and good moral lessons and everything. And then that one, I was just, what is this? But anyway,
so up until that point, we've seen Zuko and we've seen Iroh and whatever, and basically all we've seen of Zuko up to that point is my honor, give me my honor, and whatever, and that's basically it. He's
I think you got the wrong hand.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe so. Whatever. I don't know, but he's very flat up to that point. Yeah, very flat, and then we get the storm where we get these dual stories of Aang's story and his finding out that he's the Avatar and he's gonna have to leave Gyatso and it's terrible things, and then we also get the story Zuko and how he got his scar in the first place, and all those two stories going back to back. What did you think about that?
It definitely, like, finally Zuko had some meat to him, I guess. His uncle is just this funny old guy,
right, very just goofy and flat as well, actually, exactly. At that point.
And then you start to see, okay, there's something to Zuko, and there's a reason that he's so pissed off at the world, I guess is a good way to put it. And that he's basically been betrayed by his dad, but yet still wants his father's love and his father's acceptance and whatever. And so that's why he's going after the Avatar so hard, and then of course Aang's, I can't remember, I think that's the episode where he's like trying to play ball with some of the other Airbender kids, and they're like, no, it's not fair anymore because you're the Avatar. And he's like,
nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed. I'm still me, and not like any crazy more powerful than I ever have been, and it's pretty sad. And it was cool to see that he, had a good teacher that really did care for him.
And then the fear, that's, triggered the whole thing, the fear that they were going to take him away.
And so he just left.
Yeah, he ran away.
Which is kind of what starts the rest of the show, I guess.
Yeah.
So. But no, that was a really good episode because up until that point, you just have these nameless bad, or not nameless, but these boring flat bad guys that are just bad for no reason,
right.
And it's when
incompetently really bad too at that point. I mean, just kind of like
it's when they start to take shape for sure.
Oh yeah. So then there's the Blue Spirit where we get to see see at the very end of that episode, we find out that Zuko is quite talented, not just at firebending, but super talented dual.
It almost caught me off guard at one point. He go when he's going in to save Aang.
He called me after this.
He uses a bucket of water.
Yeah.
But he does it so quickly you'd barely see the bucket. And I was like, wait, whoever this is not only a firebender, because you see him blast some fire at these guys, and then this water comes out, and I was all confused for a second. And then like, okay, never mind. He was just water to cool things off. But anyway, that was definitely an interesting episode. And then he's helping Aang, and you're like, okay, who is this?
Yeah,
who is this? And
then you find out he's just helping him because he has to capture him himself.
when he turns on him and puts the swords across his throat and is like, about to kill him, you're like, okay, wait. So he also wants the Avatar for a selfish reason. It's not just to help him get out of there. But there were some really cool scenes in there with Aang using like really tall poles to jump on to try to get out. All the different things that they did in the fighting and saving each other. And
I'm not an action movie. I get real bored in straight up action movies, but the fights in this show are really
across
good.
The board. Every time they have a fight scene, there are some really short ones that are meh, but the longer scenes, like, they're very well thought out and just gorgeously choreographed, which is crazy for a cartoon, but they're just really
well, and they're believable
and cool.
too. Like, even though it's a cartoon, like, I mean, within this world with bending,
with the magic system,
whatever, but they're very, and sometimes in cartoons they lean into the cartoon thing and it's but these are believable within that world for sure. So there's a couple of filler-ish episodes. There's the fortune teller, which is comical with the cloud thing, and the madam, whatever her name is.
Telling Aang about his love and her about her love.
It's funny. And then there's Bato of the Water Tribe, which is I would say is still a little more filler episode, but it does have a cool bit in it with it's comical, but you get the point. Where Aang kind of almost betrays Sokka and Katara briefly, and keeps, because he's afraid they're going to run off, which, knowing his backstory makes total sense. That reaction, he's afraid they're going to leave him to go because they want to go see their father and whatever, and they get mad and they start to and whatever. So that's kind of a neat thing. There's the whole Bato himself is like, we could lose that character and who cares, but some of that's kind of fun. But then where I really want to ask you about is, what did you think about the deserter with Jong, the firebender, who they think is going to be training Aang or whatever. I
don't remember which one that is.
So they're in this fire. I can't remember if it's a fire village or it's Earth village that's occupied. I can't remember which. But they go and they there's going to be this festival, and they watch this guy doing. Then he gets Katara up there, and then Aang thinks that Katara's going to die, so he goes up and then reveals he's the Avatar, and then this guy takes him out, and then they take him to.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And he goes and tries to start teaching him, and then he ends up hurting Katara.
Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting episode, because you did think, okay, he's going to master firebending real early on, and I thought that was kind of strange because I figured that would be given the show and firebending and the negative connotation that is cast around it.
Right.
I thought that would be later, and then of course it is, because he hurts Katara and ends up realizing, okay, I'm too, or it was almost a little bit out of character for me, because he's been kind of timid about everything. He's confident in his airbending,
playful and excited about
playful
things.
And excited, but anyway, but he tries to do airbending or firebending and really like goes for it, just gets all excited, and he is a little bit quick to jump on things, that is for sure. But yeah, It's a good episode.
What did you think about Jong, that character?
The firebending guy?
That guy. What did you think about him?
He was really cool. I really liked the scene where he basically saved them for them to get away. And it was awesome because he was very powerful firebender. And just the stuff.
But a pacifist.
Yeah. Trying not to.
That's a
not to hurt anybody.
A cool recurring. That's a neat recurring thing. Very, very adult for a kid show is this look at war, and you see that's all these vignettes of villages and how different places, and you see even more later how different people react to war, and his reaction ultimately is to become a hermit and a pacifist and whatever, in spite of his. Was that being ridiculously powerful?
Was that the episode where Aang used the other firebender to basically destroy his own ships?
Yes, because Zhao, the other antagonist firebender guy, he was Zhang Zhang's student, and
that's right.
And basically caused Zhang Zhang to be like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore because he was out of control.
Bad.
And he's like, oh, okay, doesn't have any control, and which he uses
against him.
That's a awesome.
It didn't even
scene.
have to do anything to him. He's just running away from him, and he's destroying his own ships. It was pretty,
super
pretty good.
Cool. So let's see, comes next in the show. So then, wait, I can't even remember what happens in the Northern Air Temple. I'd have to look for some reason. It's escaping me. But then we kind of get to the end, and they finally get to the Northern Water Tribe. Mm-hmm. And they see everybody, and they meet Master Paku. So then there's the Master Paku, and they're like, okay, we're going to train the Avatar. I'm going to train, and Aang is like, okay, here's my friend. And like, I didn't know she was going to be a girl, and in this super sexist, whatever reaction. And then she goes and trains with them and whatever. So, what did you think about all that stuff?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I mean, it was I don't know. It was funny to me because that I don't think that plays anything in the South Pole at all. Like as far as the male female
at this point anyway
that you know of. And so it was just interesting that they're like only healers, and the females are only healers, and the males go off to fight and whatever. The grandmother, it was her grandmother, right?
Grand, yeah.
Grand. That scene was really cool when she, they realized or whatever. That,
after their fight scene. What did you think about their fight?
Their fight was awesome, and she did amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, really proud of her because it was like throwing in his face. Of course, he's better because he's way older and everything. But she held her own, and it was really
well. You
cool.
get to really see, because she's the only training she's had at that point is a little bit Aang is giving her, so you kind of see how natural and gifted she is. Which makes sense. I mean, she's been everything she's learned before that has been stuff she's taught herself, and learned a little bit from the waterbending scroll, and and all that stuff. So it's pretty. I love that, and I love the twist at the end where find out that it's her grandmother and whatever else, and
then he completely accepts her, and then they train, and that's a good one.
So then there's the end of book one. So there's all kinds of stuff that happens. There's Yue and Sokka. There's that she's.
I wish they would have taken a little more time to. I understand that they just barely got there. I wish they would have taken a little more time to build that because it was a little hard. It was believable. It was just a little hard to see because it was just. But it was good.
There are some things that happen a little quick.
Yeah, it was a good, not cheesy love story. Yeah, it was cute. The scene with the koi fish and Aang going to the spirit world and all that.
Yeah, what you think about Ko, the face stealer?
Face stealer. That was creepy. That was trying to think of what. Oh, it reminded me a lot of not Rebels, Clone Wars. With Maul and the whole
going down the tentacle-y thing,
craziness. The face stealer was crazy scary, and then of course Zuko grabbing him and trying to take Aang away, kind of thing, had him up, and then they saved him, and then And then Aang, after all that, he's like, "Oh, we got to save Zuko. We can't leave him out here to die."
Yeah,
you know,
because that's his character.
Like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, kid, come on! He's trying to kill you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it's good. And then
Yeah.
and then the general, what's his name? Zhao.
Yeah.
Grabbing the fish and killing him. Who we find out is the moon spirit.
Yeah, the moon spirit. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the moon goes red, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that is some really cool scenes right there. And then the girl deciding that she needs to basically
Yue.
give her life. Yeah, Yue needing to give her life to save basically to change into the moon.
Yeah, become the moon spirit, basically.
Moon spirit, yeah. Which was a really cool scene. And then Aang goes all crazy on everybody, which was real interesting because up to that point, Aang's been very similar to the firebending guy who was going to be his teacher. He's been very pacifist. He hasn't killed anybody.
Air nomad,
he always
way of life.
Yeah, exactly. He always throws him aside, knocks him out, whatever he can do to get him out of the way and to stop to try and kill him, but he's not going to kill them. And so then all of a sudden he becomes the ocean spirit, or goes into the ocean spirit,
or
whatever
that with, or something. I don't know, something. Yeah,
and then starts killing all these firebenders, and it was, I mean, it needed obviously
very Lovecraftian, crazy monster thing. Yeah, very.
Yeah, and then I think Zuko tries to save Zhao, which is the first. I believe the first time in the episode,
Zuko saves Zhao. What?
He tries to save Zhao. Zhao is and him are fighting on a bridge.
Yes,
and Zhao gets grabbed by, I guess, part of the ocean spirit or something, like a hand that comes out and tries to pull him away. And Zuko actually tries to save him, which to me was it was the first time you saw Zuko actually kind of maybe headed in the direction of good guy.
Yeah.
And so that was a really cool scene. Trying to think what else happened after that. I think that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that's well, and you get to see Iroh jumping in there trying to save the moon spirit, which is a cool scene.
Oh yeah.
And you get the line that's really cool where Katara at night in the moon is she's more powerful than Zuko, and she's able to keep up with him because the waterbenders are they're more powerful when the moon's up, and so she's got Zuko frozen in this ice thing, and then you get the line where Zuko's like, "Your power comes from the moon, but I rise with the sun," and then he comes out or whatever and is attacking them and all the things. But
and Iroh, is that the first time you really see him fight?
Mm-hmm, I think so. I'm pretty sure it is.
Earlier, but you have no idea how powerful he is until maybe there's one earlier when Zhao and Zuko.
Where he stopped. And the Agni Kai.
Like,
that is cool.
You're the whole time you think, oh, he's just a funny old guy that's
and
random.
He like lightning fast jumps in there. Yeah.
No, I think he's my favorite character for sure. Mm-hmm. I love Iroh.
Yeah.
But so first book / season is awesome.
Yeah,
Loved
really
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Even after hearing all that, if you've never watched it, it's still totally worth it. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It is.
It's fun. It's as if you're watching it with kids, if you're a Christian like we are, you're gonna have to make a decision about whether to talk to them or wait till they're older about the Eastern religion stuff, because that's there. It's not a major focus of the show, but that's that. Good or bad, that's there, but I think there's a lot of good that outweighs any bad there for me. But anyway,
awesome. Well, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Please comment below. Tell us your favorite parts of the show if you've watched it. Your favorite characters, whatever. We'd love to talk to you guys about it. If you haven't subscribed,
Do
subscribe,
so. And ring the bell.
That's right. That's right. You guys have a wonderful day.
Adios.
Adios.